Every minute, every moment counts. Hello, I'm Julie Hyde, and I understand what it takes to make these moments count for leadership, business, and your life. This podcast will deliver insights and game-changing leadership moments that will allow you to level up and shine a light for those around you. Let's get into today's episode. With me today are two powerhouse women who have joined forces to create the master plan, Colleen Callander and Shannah Kennedy. And what I love about these women is that they're in their 50s and they have embraced the power of this to collaborate and create a powerful partnership to make it count together to make more of an impact. They can see that people are facing burnout right now and provide the space for them to reset, refocus, and reinvigorate and create a plan their future self will thank them for, which I absolutely love that. So welcome, ladies.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having us. It's great to be here with you again.
And how great that we're in our 50s and, we're having fun.
For sure. And it's so good to have you back, as you've both been past guests and now I've got you together. So I'm looking forward to this chat. As I said in the intro there, you're both in your 50s and you wholly embrace it. You believe it's the beginning and not the end. So I'd love for you to expand on this a bit, because I think it's a really, really, really great message for women out there and men.
Absolutely. We decided to come together because we've worked together for a very long time, maybe 13 years, when Colleen was CEO of Sports Girl and I was her coach. And we've known each other for over 20, and we've had the family holidays together, and the husbands have a bit of a bromance going, so they're all happy. So that's always important. We always knew we'd do something together, and, every Christmas we'd say, one day we'll do something together and have a bit of a laugh, and it just had to be the right timing. And then when COVID hit and Colleen changed jobs, it was like, I think it feels right now because, we've got to really use that intuition and that wisdom that we all have. And it felt right that, we are in our 50s, our kids have grown up, they're finishing school around that time. And really we can launch off and combine our wisdom and bring it to the world for the next 10 years.
As you said, Julie, we're in our 50s and we really want to embrace this. We've done a lot of the hard work. We've done a lot of the foundational work on ourselves, and we're still working hard today because we love to work. We really enjoy it, but we're doing it in a different way. We're doing it in a way of collaboration. We're doing it in a way where we have real balance in our lives and we really walk the talk. So, we were just saying before the podcast, we're walking the Camino Trail. We're going to Japan, taking a group at the end of next year. We want this next chapter in our lives, this us turning 50, or we're both in our 50s, to be a balance of working and doing things that we're really passionate about, but also having fun. It's time to really embrace the hard work. And also for us, it's about sharing our expertise and our wisdom with not only this generation, but also the generation that's coming through. It's really important to us to be able to do that.
I think you said a key word there in terms of the foundation. You've got a really solid foundation that you're moving forward from, because through a lot of work that I do with women as well, I know when their kids are leaving school and they're leaving home, there's a real grief, and they come to that point in time where it's like, well, who am I? And what do I do now? So, and they can have that really lost feeling that's very disempowering. But I think you two, and I was obviously through the work that you've done, and, Shannah, through the work that you have done for a long time in terms of making sure that you're creating that life plan or that future plan.
Yes, absolutely. And you're so right. It's really, really important to have those foundations. And, part of the master plan is, and it doesn't matter where you are on your life or leadership journey, it really doesn't matter. You can build those foundations at any stage you like, but building those foundations is absolutely key. And again, that's really what we want to be teaching people, is to build those foundations of self. When we think about, Julie, leadership or confidence or embracing self-care. All of those things start with self. So we really, really need to build those foundations of ourselves so that we can be the best version of ourselves every day. So we can show up for our family, for our friends, for our people, for our employees. So yeah, really important that we really make those foundations solid. It's like building a house, right? If we don't build those solid foundations of our house, that house isn't going to be standing for too long. As human beings, we are exactly the same. So really focus on those foundations.
Yeah, absolutely. So what then is the secret to making your collaboration work? Because you're two very strong women, very successful women, and I'm guessing that, you would like things done particular ways, in particular, there's certain ways that you have done things throughout your professional lives individually. So how do you make it be so successful?
I think we really focus on our strengths and don't try and compete with each other's strengths. Colleen's better at some things and I'm better at other things. And also having very honest, open and kind conversation. So making sure that we're there to support each other and also draw where the line is for each other as well, saying, you're going too far this way. Or I think a lot of people are afraid of open, honest conversation. Wouldn't you agree, Colleen?
Absolutely. And I think, our values are very similar. We've got a few different ones. We are very similar as women in terms of we are both go-getters. We both love working hard. We both have achievement is one of our values. But as Shannah said, our strengths are very different. So when you bring those strengths together, that becomes a pretty powerful power of two. But I think for us, our number one value in terms of our collaboration is honesty. And that's really how we both live our lives anyway. So it kind of works.
And, we have a contract as well. People forget that how important that is, that it's not just let's be friends and let's have fun. There is a contract in place about, what happens when, I want to bug out. I don't like this anymore. And we've built up all of this collateral. And what happens if, I don't know, Colleen's sick and can't show up to that big gig that we've got? And what happens then? So we've actually sat down and gone through the worst case scenarios or what the curveballs could be, or if one of us does get a health diagnosis, what happens? And we've got solutions for all of that. So we feel quite supported. So it's about being smart as well, about building a business together that can have longevity, but also has some guidelines and some rules and some boundaries.
Yeah, which is so important. And I'm sure you've seen throughout your time, businesses or partnerships that have just imploded because they didn't have those frameworks in place and hadn't had those discussions. So the what ifs and all that, and you've got all those contingencies in place now, which I think is so smart, and then enables you just to move forward and do the fun stuff, as you say.
And it's a constant check-in. It's that ability to constantly sit down with each other and say, are we enjoying this? Is this fun? Walking the world's on my bucket list. Shall we make that a master plan? Yes, we shall, because we both love walking together. So just making sure that we're both on the same page is actually important. And I think a lot of partnerships, they forget to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about what you're collaborating on. Tell us about the master plan and what that's all about.
It's a pretty exciting program. We absolutely love it. We were just saying to you before the podcast, Julie, that we've just got a global book deal to take the master plan global. But really, if I pare all of that back, the whole idea behind the master plan was bringing the collaboration of two, bringing different skill sets together and really creating one total package where people can really work on themselves. We spend a lot of time as human doers. We need to be human beings as well. And that starts with really focusing on us. So the master plan really has three pillars, and it is life, leadership and longevity. And, as we know, there's a lot of people out there talking about life skills. There's a lot of people talking about leadership skills. There's a lot of people talking about burnout and how you do it, for the long term. But there is no one out there, and certainly no duo. And I know you said this is the first duo you've ever interviewed on your podcast. There is no duo that is bringing that together, and that is the whole person. So really focusing on those three areas. And when I say the whole person, that is us as mothers, that is us as leaders, that is us as CEOs, that is us as entrepreneurs. We have to have those pillars in balance to be able to do all of those jobs and wear all of those hats. So really exciting that we're doing some public events. Predominantly, we're taking this into organizations and businesses and really helping the team elevate, because we know that high performance starts with self. And when we create high performing humans, we actually create high performing companies as well. So yeah, really excited about the master plan journey ahead.
And we're treating people like they're elite athletes. And that's my background coming in. So it is about, we're athletes of life. Why aren't we using the same skills that elite athletes use? We should be, So what we do with the master plan is, when you learn a skill, there's 18 skills that we cover, is we take the skill and then you have to apply it to you personally, no matter where you are in the organization, and put it on your blueprint, your master plan for life. And then what actions are you going to do? So it's really personalized high performance living. And when we all raise the bar 10%, 15%, 20% by having clarity and direction and purpose, then the whole company lifts. Everyone is very clear about who they are, what their strengths are, what their brand is, how they're going to behave, what their habit plan is, so they don't burn out. So it's this individual program that we do as teams.
And when Shannah talks about lifting that 10, 15%, that doesn't mean let's work 10, 15% more or more hours. That means let's get our life in order. Let's get really clear on our goals. Let's get really clear on our values. Let's get really clear on our purpose. Let's get really clear on the roadmap forward. And when you do that, it actually doesn't mean we work more. It actually means we work smarter and we keep our tanks full. So a big part of the master plan is really helping people put that roadmap together and really elevating, but really not getting on the burnout train whilst they're doing it. So really giving them the tips and tools to really prevent burnout and, as I said, keep that tank nice and full.
And post-COVID, when everybody's, gone through the big hybrid working, etc., and then this year people feel like they've never worked so hard in their life, this total burnout, this is the time to stop. It's to actually take a day out to think about, where am I going? Who am I? What am I doing? How am I going to get there? If people don't take the time, like an elite athlete doesn't go and review all of the stats and where they want to go and how they're going to make the next Olympics and where the milestones are, if they don't do that, it's a big jumbled mess and we never get the PB. So it's the same. We're exhausted. People are out there. They're not sure where they're going. They don't know if they're Arthur or Martha. And we need to take the day to reset, just to think, just to reconnect with ourselves, to reconnect with others, and to get clarity in the mind.
We are all leaders, but you cannot be a leader of others unless you are a leader of self first. Over the past 2 decades, I've empowered hundreds of leaders to deliver positive impact to the business they are representing, resulting in extraordinary sales growth and high staff retention rates. I'm often asked the question, how can I work with you, Julie? Here's how. I present 1-hour keynotes to corporations, providing practical tools and strategies for leaders and their teams to take control of busy, to be intentional with their actions, and achieve the high performance results that they're looking for. I also work one-on-one with a select few ambitious and courageous leaders who understand the key to creating their success starts with them. So if you'd like to connect, you can find me at juliehyde.com.au. I totally agree. And I saw a great quote. It was just the other day. It's like, when you're thinking you don't have the time to stop and reset, that's the time to stop and reset. And, as you were talking before, Colleen, I wrote down, work smarter, because this is absolutely what I'm hearing through what you're sharing with people, is to enable them to work smarter. It's to enable them to be a leader of self, to create the habit plan that's going to support them, but to give them that clarity, to create the momentum for them to, push through challenges where they need to, or, do what they need to do if they don't feel like it on a particular day, or to give themselves grace to stop when they need to. So it's really understanding how they can support themselves. And as you say, to be the leader of self and to have that longevity and to avoid all of these things that's happening to so many people. And that's probably why your walk has already sold out for April next year, because it's like, oh my God, I want to do that. It's like I'm going to give myself the time to get away and do it.
Yeah, and the brain needs a map, doesn't it? If it doesn't have, a bit of a plan for itself, if it's not sure what your own values are, if it's not sure how your habit plan is going to support you not to burn out, if you don't have any of that around you and you haven't done that work, then you're just reactionary. And you just feel like you're a rat on the wheel in the lab. It's this awful treadmill experience that we call life. And then we're exposed to hormones and weather and breaking news and everything. And we really don't have the structure to support ourselves to shine. So this is about creating the ultimate plan for yourself for you to go and then implement.
I love that. The structure to shine and not allowing, I suppose, yourself to be controlled by things that are happening to you rather than being in control of how you respond to them.
Yeah, we always say control the controllables. But if you don't have a plan to control the controllables, then you just lost. So hence why we're so busy. Because lots of people are really lost at the moment. And when companies start investing in resetting their people, giving their people the space to just spend a day learning some clarity, some direction, resetting their purpose, resetting the energy, it's just Groundhog Day going forward.
So you both inspire others constantly. Where do you find the inspiration to stay so motivated and so inspired yourselves?
Well, I think it's about role models. I look at Roger Federer, who's just retired, and how gracefully he did it and how excited he is for the next chapter. And, we both have plans. We have plans for our 50s, our 60s, our 70s. It's exciting. So if you don't have a vision for yourself, it's pretty hard to stay motivated and inspired. You need to know about, how do I want to feel? Do I want to feel strong? Do I want to feel calm, confident, flexible? That's the motivation to do the habits today or to go and learn something new today. And I think when we're learning, we're always happy.
And I think also, Julie, inspiration comes from outside of your, everyday routine. And we love routine, but, inspiration for us comes from going for a walk down the beach. It comes from listening to our children come home and tell us a story from the day. It comes from meeting someone at the coffee shop and having a chat with them and listening to their story. I mean, inspiration doesn't need to come from these big moments. It's actually all around us. We just need to actually open our minds to be able to see that inspiration, because it often is right in front of us.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree. So in talking about walking, tell us about what you're doing next year, because it's not just one. Like, these are two big adventures and something relatively new for you both. That's a very different way of leading people towards a destination.
Yeah, well, we want to walk the world. So there's all of these countries that have these amazing pilgrimage style walking experiences where you really reconnect with yourself. So we want to do a couple of a year, and we want to do different countries every year. And hopefully, the people that follow us or work with us or want to walk with us come with us on these epic adventures where we actually are teaching life and wellness skills and leadership skills along the way, where people can be journaling, resetting, really not just walking, but really thinking about themselves and us giving them the space and the tools and techniques to be able to do so. So, yeah, we've got Camino in Spain in April, and we've got Japan, which we're just about to launch in October next year.
This idea was actually seeded with sort of both of us. Last year, we did the Bay of Fires down in Tasmania for 5 days with our husbands. And, for us, even those 5 days of tapping out of technology and really just giving yourself some space and a new environment and, walking, I mean, that is just the most powerful thing that we both do. We came away with this idea of walking the world. And, the whole master plan also was a big part of that sort of journey. So for us, it's actually, again, when I talk about Julie walk the talk, everything we talk, everything we teach is everything we do. So it's really, really important to us. That's a big part of that value of authenticity. So yeah, what we talk about is what we actually do as well. So we are so excited to take people on this journey. And as the Camino, Japan, who knows what else, we'll be doing. But every year we'll be doing, a couple of these and really helping people think about that future vision for themselves.
Fantastic. So do you help people with the preparation for it as well?
Well, they're not very difficult walks, they're not big mountains, and we're not going into Peru and Nepal and stuff like that. They're more 20 kilometres a day, but more on the flat type of thing, where we break it up and you might stop. We might stop as a group. We might talk about a topic for a while. We might journal about it, and then we might walk and talk for the next 5 kilometres about it. So it's got so much purpose and depth to it. It's not just let's do a flat out walk and go as fast as we can. It really is a human experience.
It sounds awesome. And so I'll be sharing all the links with the show notes so that people can get more information about this, and also, of course, the master plan, and to find out more about you both individually if they don't already know about you. So it's been such a great conversation today, but I'd love to ask you on a final note, what is the one thing you would love to leave with our listeners today from each of you or collectively?
I would say where your focus goes, your energy flows. And let's really be aware of what we're focusing on, and is it working for you? And I know for us, we're focused on growth, we're focused on challenges, we're focused on evolving and really creating a pathway that's exciting for both of us.
And I would say, I know you have a very large female audience, Julie, and I think many of your audience would be people pleasers, because Shannah and I both have that people pleasing gene, and there's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, what we have to do is fill up our own tanks. It's really important that we focus on self. And I would say, never feel guilty about self. Never feel guilty about self-care. Never feel guilty about actually putting yourself first sometimes, because we need to do that. We can only be good to others when we're good to ourselves first.
Yes, such a powerful message from both of you, and I totally agree. I don't believe you can lead anyone else until you can lead yourself, and with that you need to understand how you support yourself, how you fuel yourself in the first instance. So totally agree. So the master plan and the walks and everything that you're doing is so powerful in terms of enabling people to really support themselves. So thank you both for being part of Making It Count today, and for making it count for so many through the amazing work that you do, both individually and together. So thank you both, Shannah and Colleen.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us, and thank you for all of the amazing work you do, because when we talk about collaboration with us two, this is a collaboration of three today, because our messages, the more we share our messages, the more we get together. We are all on this journey of change together. So thank you for all of the amazing work that you do and creating a platform for us to share that journey and that message as well.
Pleasure. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to today's episode, and I trust that you enjoyed leaning into one of the precious moments shared. I invite you to leave your thoughts as a review in support of this show. You can also share with your network and even rate and review it. I would appreciate that feedback and connection. I'd love to connect on LinkedIn or Instagram via my handle, Julie Hyde Leads. Until next time, live and lead intentionally and make it count.